Welcome to Lovebabz, Lovetalk. I'm Babz Rawls Ivy. It's around 9 o'clock. So if you know if it's around 9 o'clock, I'm on air. So today we're going to be talking about Jazz Week because I've got DiMaria here. Can you hear?
Oh, yeah. Good morning.
We're going to talk about Jazz Week. I got my little card.
Good.
Is this the first time for this is not the first time for Jazz Week, is it?
The first time
doing it? No.
No.
This is like, how long has it been going on?
Oh, a few years. This is my third Jazz Week that I've worked on.
Yeah.
You know.
So what's your role over there?
I'm one of the board members of Jazz Haven, and I'm one of the program directors.
Oh, okay.
So in charge of booking the acts and
really
the venues and all that. Yeah.
So where do y'all work out of? Where are y'all actually?
Well,
is there a place?
It's an undisclosed bunker. I can't tell you that.
I gotta get the code.
Yeah.
I gotta hum a few bars of Cold Train's.
Yeah.
Love Supreme.
Yeah, you gotta listen for it. We play it at only like a frequency dogs can hear. You know, that's how we call meetings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jazz Haven kicks off August 17th, which is what, Friday?
Friday. Oh, I can't believe it already, man. But,
this looks like an impressive lineup.
I'm pretty.
Like I think
pretty
this is the most
about
impressive that I've ever seen it.
Oh no, it can't be.
No,
it can't be that.
All right,
but it's up there. I'll give it top 10.
Okay,
top 10 status. But this is a fantastic week.
Next year, I want Inner City to be on this sponsorship. Like
sure.
We could do something.
Well, we need the sponsorships, so
we could do ad space. We ain't got no money, but we could do some.
We'll take anything.
We can certainly prop you up.
I'd put it on, how you see the city buses with all the ambulance chase lawyers,
Oh, you got to talk to somebody.
Yeah, we got to get Jazz Haven up on there.
Go talk to the fancy attorneys with money.
Yeah.
And say, because I'm sure there's some fancy attorneys that like jazz.
Hopefully.
Yes, there are some.
If there are any listening and they want to be a benefactor.
Yes. And some of them do listen.
Yeah. Sure. I'm all about it. They got all, I went to the beach last week and, they got the airplanes flying over.
Yes, you want that too.
And I think one was Dunkin' Donuts, but the other three were the lawyers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So they got some money.
Let's get a banner. Have Jazz Week.
Yeah. And then you let them splash a little name underneath.
Yeah.
Jazz Week sponsored by attorney such and such.
That's a great idea.
Not see?
And we got to make some calls after this.
Yes.
All
right. Okay, so how long have you been with Jazz Haven?
Unofficially 1 year, and then officially 2 years, I guess.
So you got to be a jazz lover.
Oh, it's what I do.
All right, well, tell me about your love of jazz. Are you a musician?
Yeah, I play the trumpet.
Of course
you are. Yeah. I wanted to play the trumpet when I first saw Paul Simon's video to the song "You Can Call Me Al."
Oh.
And if you remember it, and you got I was like 4 years old, and Chevy Chase is playing the trumpet. I thought that was the coolest thing I ever saw. And then I picked it up in the 5th grade, like every kid does in band. My dad played a little bit when he was younger.
Okay.
So he
I
played
have 4 kids that play 4 different instruments.
Oh man.
So yeah, I do know.
But both my brothers are failed drummers. So
yeah, all my children are failed musicians.
Well, at least you have it. You don't have to do it professionally. Just do it. That's what I always say. Like I actually envy people who music is only like a de-stressor. You know,
okay.
music is my de-stressor, but it could also be my stressor.
Yeah. Oh.
You know, so I got to do other things to walk away from it.
Now, do you have a band?
Yeah, yeah. I work with a pool of musicians, and then I have a couple of groups of my own. I kind of do the straight ahead thing, and then I have this kind of like jazz funk outfit.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the name? Like, what if I wanted to see you? Where would you be?
I just where I'd be. It depends. You know, I play Cave Vine up on State
Oh,
Street.
I love Cave. That's my spot.
Oh, dude,
that's my girlfriend. Linda is my girlfriend.
I love Linda. She's great. I met her when they, you know, maybe they were a month into business.
I love going there,
and I've been playing there, you know, pretty regularly since 2011.
I don't know how I missed you then, because I'm always over there.
Oh, and I'm always shouting at the audience, so you would have known if it was me.
Oh, well, now I'll see you.
Because I don't bring a PA. I have the band play behind me kind of quietly, and I shout, and I make people turn around. I'm like, take a minute and listen to the band. That's how I introduce the band all the time. I just do it obnoxiously.
That's a great space for. I love that space.
It's awesome.
It's such a sexy, romantic, cool space.
Yeah.
You know,
but I'll play there. But then, you know, I'll also play, you know, one of the downtown clubs on Crown Street. You know, I freelance too, so sometimes I'm lucky enough to get a call to back up someone or, you know, play in someone else's band. But primarily my own stuff. I'm kind of a workhorse. I'm always trying to get work.
And by day you are a teacher.
I'm a teacher. Yeah, teacher in New Haven.
Truman, you said Truman?
Truman Street School.
Where's Truman Street School?
Is
it on Truman Street?
Yeah, but it's off of El Grasso.
Oh, okay.
And it's just before you know, the Long Wharf exits, kind of. We're almost like we're kind of like diagonally behind Jordan's. Yeah, but I'll be starting my 5th year there.
Wow, what grade do you teach?
I teach kindergarten to 8th grade music.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
I love it. It's so great. I'm excited. You know, school's starting back. That's the cool thing about Jazz Week is I
love that there's still music in some schools.
Yeah, well, New Haven is super supportive of the arts, and I love it. That I wanted to be a New Haven teacher. My aunt taught in New Haven for a number of years, and when I entered the profession, it was, you know, after college, basically, I kind of made New Haven my home.
Where'd you go to college?
Western Connecticut.
Okay.
So much. So I loved it so much. I went 3 times. So I got a music degree and a couple of music ed degrees. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So
yay.
So I made New Haven my home, and I wanted to be part of the community. And
because you could go teach at the neighborhood music school. Are you teaching over there too?
No, but Jesse's on the board with me, so we talk a lot.
Jesse Hamid.
Yeah.
I was on the board over there for many years too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I got tapped a couple years ago. A guy named Eric Murray was producing the festival.
Okay.
And he reached out to me. Just kind of he knew that I had my ear to the ground. I was producing my own shows at the time. Did you ever go to the Outer Space Club in Hamden?
I know where it is. I've never gone.
Well, it's R.I.P. It's no more now.
Oh.
So, but I used to I had known the owner, Steve Rogers, for a number of years, and because I cut my teeth like in the punk and ska scene of Connecticut.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
What's a white boy like you doing in places like that?
Oh, that's like ska's like some of it's the whitest music I've ever heard, you know. But that, you know, like I was a suburban kid, so of course I was, and I played trumpet, so of course I was in a ska band, you know, in high school and college. But I got to know him, and then he let me start a weekly jazz series there, the Outer Space Jazz Series, and I put on a couple of big shows where I brought in names from New York and had them play the club. And I think because of my kind of independent show production, Eric tapped me to help out with Jazz Week, and it was something I always wanted to do. And when I was asked to join the board, I was ecstatic. I couldn't get started fast enough, and you know, I hope to stay so, you know, we can keep bringing jazz to the city.
So tell me about the jazz scene in New Haven. What's it like?
It's
because I go hear a lot of live music.
Yeah.
I check out Southern's jazz series, which has grown and has become an institution now. Spring and winter. You know what I'm talking about? The jazz at Southern at Lyman.
Yeah.
I like jazz at Cave Vine. I've just started digging jazz over at Firehouse 12. I love that space.
That's where I recorded my records.
It's like big. that place is sublime.
It's awesome.
I just love it. But then, you know, my friend Phil Brown over at Amoy's, because I've been following Phil Brown and Top Notch Ensemble for for 20 years at least. So there's pockets, Cafe 9,
yeah,
Harvest, Blue Play Radio,
yeah.
and then
Ed Tenkus is doing great work. He's booking a few venues kind of throughout the state. But the one he's doing in New Haven is Harvest. So
Harvest on Thursdays.
Yeah, on Thursdays. So I've worked with Ed as the musician and him as the promoter, and I wanted to partner with as many organizations that are putting on this music in town as possible. So I reached out to Ed and said, hey, I would love to have you included, and he was gracious enough to hop on board. So he produces the shows at Harvest, and we're just we're promoting it because it's the same week and there's no reason not to include it.
Yes.
So this way, and then this way you can go see a good jazz show on Thursday and see the work that he's doing, because he's doing excellent work.
I've worked with Ed.
He's a nice guy. He's the nicest guy.
He is a nice guy.
Yeah.
And I've gone to Harvest on many occasions. So, and I always run into him in Lyman. But there's a couple of little jazz venues. Do you think that New Haven is becoming much more of a jazz community? Because I think for a minute it was kind of hit or miss finding music.
It's it comes in, things come in waves. So I feel like you have kind of like a surge, and then it kind of goes down. Kind of gets a little more hidden, and then comes back, that sort of thing. But I think New Haven, as in general, is a music pit stop. I don't see New Haven as Let me start again. New Haven's definitely a place your band stops to play if you are touring, or if it can be a destination, and that's multi-genre. I don't mean just jazz. I mean, in the jam band scene, and the funk scene, the rock scene. But yeah, I mean, with Firehouse 12, there are bands and artists that want to be there. It's definitely put New Haven on the map, especially in like more avant-garde styles of jazz, which that's amazing, because that's kind of the most underground of like a subgenre of jazz.
Yeah.
And it's awesome that there's such a state-of-the-art facility there. But then you can, my band's play there, and you could see all kinds of styles there, which is great. But you have that. There's the New Haven Improvisers Collective that works out of Never Ending Books on State Street. They put on avant-garde shows, which is great. You have the State House is opening up. I'm hoping that we could. This
is the new place by the Grove people, right?
Yeah.
And I've not been in that space. Is it a good space?
I haven't been in it either. I think they're opening this fall.
Okay. But they've done a few things in the space.
Yeah. Well, they've done things. I saw a show there.
Because I wanted to see the African folks. That they had some African artists there, and I so desperately wanted to get over there and see them.
Yeah. Yeah. So. I saw Money Chicha, which is like they're like a cumbia, like a Latin fused band, and they were playing in the Grove, and that was fantastic. So I'm hoping that we could partner with them in the future. But yeah, I mean, you could see all different kinds of music. There's 2 jam sessions that go on in town. You have the one in Cafe 9, which has been going on for forever,
1,000 years.
Yeah, and Jazz Haven, in partnership with 3 Sheets, has a jam session up there.
Karen, who writes for the New Haven Independent.
Yes, yeah.
She is always. Yeah. And I'm like, I mean, I thought I hung out a lot, but she has me beat by like.
She's always. I don't think she's ever home.
By like 3 or 4 shows, she got me beat. Like,
yeah.
So I got to start following her, because she goes to some cool stuff at 3 Sheets. I'm impressed.
It's such a cool hang, and it's a great spot. And the staff there is so welcoming to the music, and we do it the first and third Tuesday of the month, and we rotate bands, so it's never the same band. You always, there's always a different band hosting, and we've had such a great turnout. It's about a year and change old. The jam,
really?
the jam session
over there,
and it's just I don't have enough dates for the amount of bands that are interested in hosting, which is fantastic. I hope I hope that continues.
Have you met the Yale Jazz Collective, undergrad Jazz Collective people?
I have not, but I recently met Tom Duffy.
They're
impressive. I met Tom Duffy. I haven't seen any of their collective.
I think they're in their 6th year. I went last year. I went to their. It might be in their 7th year. I went to their 5th year because I didn't even know they existed until I went to their festival, and it was held at the Yale Art Gallery, and then at the Undercroft, and they had some of everybody.
Yeah,
it was world class. I was like, what the hell is going on? I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And so we went, and then last year I went. Well, last year I went, and same thing, just blown away by these little undergrad kids pulling off this festival of tremendous artists. It's just impressive.
I saw the Yale Jazz, their big band.
Have you been to the Undercroft?
The Undercroft? No.
Oh, I gotta
check that out.
You have got to.
I haven't. I guess Yale's next on my target list because I gotta check that out.
Follow them, the Yale undergrad Jazz Collective.
Okay.
Find them.
Okay.
And then go to the Undercroft. It's free.
Well, if anyone from that group is listening or watching, reach out to me too.
Sometimes they do. I will reach out
to me too.
You should go because you know what? It's a weird space, right? It's like Hogwarts, right? You go down, you're around, and you just stairs. And then you smack into a sound studio. Like you just like wait, what is this?
That's awesome.
And it is the coolest space.
Yeah.
You know. So
well, that's how I feel about Three Sheets because Three Sheets has this dark, swanky kind of vibe to it.
I haven't been there since
since it was Rudy's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since Rudy moved around the corner and leveled up.
Yeah. But it's dark. It's got dark walls, and that's where jazz is supposed to be played.
Yeah, sort of like an underbelly kind of thing.
Its roots are scandalous, so you have to have that vibe. It can't all be
sanitized.
Exactly.
So Nick, do you like look at different venues and say, hey, jazz ought to be played in here?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Because everywhere downtown could take some music.
Yeah.
Just about.
Absolutely. As far as I'm concerned, every establishment downtown is on my list, is a target. Because there should be a night, have one night a week, if anything.
Yeah.
Just something, or just I would love to include as many establishments for Jazz Week as possible. Just coat the city with jazz, and we have a lot of musicians in the greater area.
I am surprised at how many musicians that we have in this radius of Greater New Haven. Like a lot, world class. I mean, listen, the Grammy award-winning artists that play over at the church on Olive and Church. I mean, Olive and Chapel. What is that church? They do the jazz
mass.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Oh my God. I used to go to the Jazz Vespers. They used to do it like, I don't know, every other Thursday or something.
So so you've brought up two things I've never. So that's, I guess it's healthy because there's stuff going on that I don't even know about.
The Jazz Vespers is beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the guy is a Grammy award-winning jazz artist.
That's awesome.
And they play.
Reach out, please, please.
I'll send you.
I want to book you.
I'll find the link. I'll make sure I get it to you because. Yeah. And then every Sunday it's a jazz service.
Yeah, I gotta check that
jazz.
out. I would have gone to church way more.
I know.
I was raised Catholic, so everything. If you don't know what a Catholic mass is like, just picture 100 people mumbling for an hour. So
Jackie Filbert says, "Hey, Nick." She's like, "Whoop whoop."
Hey, Jackie. I hope the boys are watching.
They might be watching.
We'll see.
Somebody's watching. So, all right. So New Haven has a jazz life.
Yeah, for sure. And it deserves one.
So do you find it hard to sort of get the word out about jazz? Because I'm always running into people who are like, this is what people say. There's no music in this town. There's nothing to do. There's no jazz. I'm like, what, are you kidding me?
That's frustrating.
Like I could go somewhere every night of the week and hear music. Swear to God, I could go just about anywhere.
Pretty much.
And hear some music.
Pretty much.
From the smallest of the smallest places to some of the bigger places.
Everyone promotes on social media now, and everybody's promoting. So you're just trying to get attention in a ocean of gigs and posts and tags of, gigs going on. And, you could post for months and still not get as many people. There'll always be someone who's like, oh man, I wish I knew you were playing. And it's like, man, I emailed you, I text messaged you.
I did everything but come by your house.
It's just, I think in general, it's hard because people, not to get preachy, but people are distracted, so you have to try to find a way to stand out.
So tell me about this lineup, because I'm liking all this. Do you know it? Like Dr. Eddie Henderson Quartet. It's gonna be at Lyric Hall.
Can't wait. Eddie's my
just for $25, which is ridiculous.
That's the only event that's not free.
But $25 is nothing. That's 2 drinks.
Yeah. Well, we try to keep it as as free, as affordable as we could, because we want people there. You don't put on something for the city and then charge people. That seems counterintuitive to me. So, make things free. Okay. So because you never know, you might get someone who would go because they know somebody who's like, come on, man, let's go to this concert. And they're like, I don't want to go. And they're like, it's free, man. Just check it out.
Yeah.
You never know. And you might, and then you could bring kids and stuff to some of these events.
Yeah.
And you got to hook them when
when
while
they're young.
But Eddie, I've known Eddie since 2003. He's my mentor. He taught me how to play. And, he's not, jazz musicians obsess over classic recordings, and he may not be on many of them, but he's of the generation after that. Yeah. And he knew all those
I almost bought Miles Davis's Kind of Blue.
Yeah, he was
album.
Miles
and Target.
Eddie's parents were friends with Miles. His stepfather was Miles's doctor.
Jesus.
So, I would have a lesson, I'm like 19, I'd go to Eddie's house and he'd literally write, he'd show me a piece of paper and he would tell me that Miles Davis showed him this. And it was like, well, there's nothing I could question. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I'm going to do exactly what you say. And, he got his first trumpet lesson from Louis Armstrong.
Oh my gosh.
His mother was a dancer at the Cotton Club and she knew a bunch of entertainers and his, and somehow he met Louis Armstrong backstage and got to play his horn and got his first lesson from him. But he's kind of like an unsung hero.
That's such a great story.
Yeah. Oh man, that's just the beginning. He is a lifetime's worth of jazz experience and knowledge. And we're lucky that he's coming to New Haven. He was in Herbie Hancock's band. He was a jazz messenger. He played with Joe Henderson. He's played with everybody. He's now in the Cookers.
Lord.
He's got his own groups. He just released a record about, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago now called Be Cool. And nobody sounds like Eddie. Nobody. And he is just a great guy and a musical force to be reckoned with. And he stood shoulder to shoulder with some of the greats. And I'm sure that the anecdotes he shares in between the songs will be just as riveting as the songs themselves.
I've never been to Lyric Hall, so this might be a treat. Although it's up against my friend Phil Brown, the Phil Brown Trio.
Yeah, he's playing on Orange.
And he's playing on Orange Street at Amoy's, which is one of my favorite restaurants. So much so that I have a little plaque with my name on it.
Do you?
I eat this so much.
I always wanted something like that.
No, I have one.
I wanted to be recognized in such a way.
I go there so daggone much. They're like, listen.
Yeah, like your own table. That'd be hip.
I got my own table.
That's
I feel like Frank Sinatra in the Rat Pack back in the day.
Yeah, yeah.
So then Saturday you've got a jazz jam at Cafe 9.
Yep, their regular jam from I believe it's 4:30 to 7:30. And
you're playing Saturday at Cafe 9.
I'm playing Saturday night. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Thank you to Linda for having me. And we're just gonna be playing standards and trying to, so we're hoping people come out for that. And again, it's there's no cover charge, so come on out. If you haven't been to Cafe Vine, it's a great place for a date.
It is.
It's a great place to just
hang.
It is.
When I date, that's where I take people.
Yeah.
I do, because
Yeah,
I know them
believe
so well, and they have my back in case something goes wrong.
Yeah, you can give them the signal, and they can get you out of there. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And they have on occasion.
Nice.
Morris Trent duo.
Yeah, we're taking a
Monday.
break Sunday. There's nothing going on Sunday, but Monday you got Morris Trent is playing at Anchor. Yeah, Anchor Spa.
Which it's funny to me that people play at Anchor because it's such a small space. But
sometimes
it
the smallest spaces are the best. Like Cave Vine doesn't have a lot of space.
No,
but
it works.
You know, it sounds great in there. So you get over it. Even though I feel like I'm inside the piano sometimes, but I don't care. It's such a great.
It feels like
room.
everybody's at my house.
Yeah,
like it's like oh, this is like going on at my house. I love that feeling.
But yeah, Morris is gonna be there on Monday, and then and then Ron Lawrence has got his residency at the Lily Pad.
The Lily Pad. He's a New Haven treasure.
Yeah. Yeah,
like he really is.
He is, and so that's on a Monday night. You got two options, or that you could pick one or go to both.
Or go to both, because you could make each set. I mean, it's enough time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's enough time.
Mm-hmm.
The Tuesday, the Jonathan Barber Trio.
Yeah.
Why do I know that?
Jonathan Barber is from Hartford, but he's making quite a name for himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing with Nicholas Payton. He's playing with Jeremy Pelt. He's got his own group called Vision Ahead, and he's a great guy. He's a fantastic drummer, and that Jazz Week lined up with the jam session at Three Sheets. So we always we like to book a guest host. So he's our guest host for that night.
Okay.
So if you're a fan of JB's, he's going to play a set with his band starting at 7:30, and then at 8:30 it opens up for a jam session. So so we're hoping for all the cats to come out.
I'm see how much. I'm gonna play a game. How many of these can I get to? So Wednesday, Hawkins Jazz Collective at Owl.
Yeah,
so
which is Gil's. Yeah, Gil's regular group.
So I could have a really nice 12-year-old single malt scotch and a cigar.
And Gil's band.
And the band.
Yep.
Because I love that space.
Oh, it's great.
It's such a cool, swanky space.
Yeah.
They tricked it out nice.
Very nice. And thanks to Glenn, the owner, he's a former board member, and he's a very generous supporter of Jazz Haven and what we do. So shout out to Glenn for his
and they have one of my favorite people that works there, Zoe, the waitress.
Oh, okay.
Or server, or whatever you call them these days. She's wonderful.
Bartender.
She's a bartender. Zoe the bartender.
Okay.
I love Zoe. Okay, Thursday we've got Jazz Haven Fusion Night at Stella Blues. I've never gone to Stella Blues.
Stella Blues is great. It's a great club on Crown Street, and one of the things we wanted to do this year is encompass as many styles of jazz as possible. So we've got some great fusion groups lined up. My group's playing Keepers of the Vibe. Fernanda Franco is doing Brazilian music, and the Rosemary Minkler Trio is playing. So you're gonna see jazz fused with Latin music, Brazilian music, rock, funk, R&B, hip hop, even.
Okay, I might make that.
And again, that's free. So shout out to the crew down at Stella Blues, because normally there's a cover, and we were able to negotiate so that we can have no cover and get more people in, because we want to support the business and support the musicians. So if you take away that cover, a lot more people can come in.
Yeah. And then and on Thursday again. So the next two things are happening. So there's the Harvest thing.
Yep.
By Blue Plate Radio.
Yep.
The Rick Cunningham duel.
Mm-hmm. So if you're in the mood for a good meal or
it's a very romantic place.
It is.
So if you want to have a good date, that's a good place to go.
And hopefully the weather holds up and you can sit out on that patio.
Mm-hmm. But even if you sit inside, it's lovely.
Yeah, but I know that the acts will play outside if the weather permits.
If the weather is nice.
Yeah, so it's nice down there. So
I've sat down there a couple of times.
Yeah, so thanks again to Ed for letting us include your show on Jazz Week. We're happy to have you. As you can see on our postcard, it says presented by Blue Plate Radio.
We love it.
That's Ed's outfit. So thank you so much to Ed.
And then Joe Morris and the NHIC.
Yeah. So again, like I was saying, one of definitely the boards, but my mission was I want every style of jazz under the sun included. So that's like our avant-garde show.
Okay.
So Joe Morris is a guitarist and a wonderful human being, and he's going to be playing hopefully the State House, if it's not ready, the Grove Room.
Okay.
And then the NHIC is run by Bob Gorey. That's a New Haven Improvisers Collective, and they're a group of everything from hilarious to quirky but they're all nice guys. And when I first got out of college and started hanging around downtown, I met Bob and the guys in the NHIC, and some of my first jam sessions were like applying Anthony Braxton style free jazz techniques and learning a different side of the coin. And so they've always, like I said, they've always kind of been like in the shadows. They work out of Never Ending Bucks. So I approached Bob and I said, hey man, put a show together and we'll put it in Jazz Week. So that looks like it's gonna be a great lineup. And
then Friday the 24th, you got the Alec Rice Quintet.
Yep. Alec Rice is he's a young guy. I believe he's from New Haven. He's a student in college. He's a vibraphone player.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's leading a group of younger musicians starting at 4. And then after is more of a veteran group. So Andrew Beals was one of my professors at WestCon, and he's a fantastic alto saxophone player, and he's going to be backed up by Gil and Jeff Fuller and Darren Litzy, and that's going to be a great quartet, just burning. And they're opening for Adam Rogers Dice. If you're not familiar with Adam, he's one of the, he's a cat on the scene. He's a guitar player. He's like a Crisscross Records artist. He's been on. He works in all kinds of genres. Like you can hear him playing straight ahead in a trio or in a quintet. He's also got some like jazz rock fusion kind of outfits. And Dice is kind of like that. Dice reminds me almost of like Band of Gypsies.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Just like real raw, kind of like jazz rock in a way. And he's got Fema Efron on bass for that, and Nate Smith on drums. So that band alone, do not miss that band.
Okay.
Those are 3 world-class musicians, and that's all going to be on Temple Plaza, and it's free, and it's in partnership with Town Green, which is the organization that
Temple Plaza is a cool space.
It is cool, and I'm so glad they use it the way they do, because it's just big enough to be a venue.
Yeah, Yep.
And so thank you to Town Green for partnering with us. Over the summer, you can go to free concerts on Fridays at Temple Plaza, and so
they have a nice happy hour.
Yeah,
it's a little happy hour,
exactly.
And Rotate Restaurants who provide like whatever the happy hour fare is.
So show up at 4:00. You could stay until 8 and hear 3 fantastic groups and have some drinks and hang out. And then after that, we have an after party at Cafe 9.
I see that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So if you've never heard of Kelly Green, she's a young rising star on the piano and vocals. She's a vocalist too. Her debut record has like Christian McBride on it. Connecticut native Josh Evans is on it.
Christian. I saw him when he was here for the Duke Ellington Jazz Festival. Have you ever gone to any of those?
No, but
at Yale.
I think I knew he was there.
Yeah,
I think I know that.
That's a wonderful jazz series too.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. And so she's bringing her trio. She's got a regular band, and they've been touring and playing. I believe they had a residency at Cleopatra's Needle in New York City, and so her record has a sextet lineup. So we thought about seeing if we can get the sextet, and then after all the planning, nothing really was really gelling. So I said to her, listen, reach out to who you want to play with. Let's make this something, right? And she got back to me and she said that George Coleman was going to be joining the band. Now, if you don't know who George Coleman is, George Coleman is in between John Coltrane, Hank Mobley, and Wayne Shorter in Miles Davis's band. So if you've ever listened to Four and More, Miles Davis's Four and More double album, he's the saxophonist on it. He's the saxophonist on Maiden Voyage, Herbie's classic album. He was in Eastern Rebellion with Cedar Wall, and he is a jazz legend. And we are so lucky that he is still with us and that he's coming to New Haven. So Cafe 9 is going to be packed Friday on the 24th. So if you want to see George Coleman, you should definitely get there early.
Okay.
Because that's going to be something.
Okay.
So I'm happy. I'm happy for Kelly, and I'm happy to have her band with George. So that's Friday alone, and that's all free. Even the Cafe 9 show, we shout out to Paul and thank you for being so supportive of Jazz Haven and letting us book the show. Cause I'm hoping that we're gonna have to ask people to kind of like shuffle out just so more people can come. That's my goal. We'll see. But
that's not gonna be hard.
I hope that
that's probably gonna happen.
You know, I want the fire department to show up and you know what I mean? Yeah.
And then you got let's see, the jazz jam on Saturday.
Yep.
At Cafe 9. And then you got Herb Wilson, who I know.
Yeah.
I know Herb Wilson.
Herb's on the board with me. I've known Herb a long time.
Yeah.
So he's closing out our show. He doesn't even realize it. He's closing out Jazz Week.
I know him because we used to be on the Neighborhood Music School board together.
Okay.
So that's how I know him. I've seen him at Cave Vaughn. I've seen him at Cave Vaughn wine bar. So wow, this is exciting.
Yeah, I'm pumped. Thanks to my fellow board members, we like I said, this is a lineup to be proud of. And I want, we want New Haven to know, that not only do we put on a Jazz Week, but it's top notch. It's top notch
without question. I mean, I went to see Freddie Cole the other night.
Oh, at Side Door.
Yeah.
I've
never been to Side Door.
Oh, you never been?
No.
It's a nice place.
So I drove up there and I was quite impressed. I sat in the club chair, right at the foot of the stage where he was.
Yeah, there's one set of chairs that are kind of like right in front of where the horns. If there's a horn line in the band, there's a set of chairs like on the floor, kind of like in between the piano and where the horn players would stand. And like I always try to get that seat.
Yeah,
I want that bell right in my face.
I sat right on the piano was. I'm looking directly at him. And the club chairs are like flanking it. So I was like, this is I'm feeling this right here.
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
it was, I've been chasing him for a few years, trying to see him in concert, and I missed him. So I just decided to just drive up to the Side Door.
Good.
It's a nice space.
It is a nice space.
I love these spaces that I'm seeing.
Yeah. And it's not that far, It's doable
closer
from
than
here.
I thought.
Yeah.
Like because I was concerned that it was going to like take forever. But it was like boop, boop, boop. And it's right off.
It's right off the highway.
You find it. It's not like you got to want, like if I go to the Ridgefield Playhouse, that's a hike.
Yeah. Right.
And they always have good acts. And I always want to go. But I was like, ooh, I could get there in the daytime. But when coming back at night, there's winding. And it's an hour. It's like, ooh.
Yeah.
So, So I'm always, the venue is what drives where I go.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I like that this Jazz Week is so accessible. Like you could just park someplace and you can get to wherever you want to get to.
Sure. Everything's pretty much centered around downtown.
Yeah.
So,
and
then State Street.
So that's pretty cool. That seems very well thought out.
Yeah, I mean we put a lot of thought into it over the last year. And like I said, in most jazz festival scenarios, sponsorship is the toughest. So
have you started on for next year?
Well, we'll probably start after next week, So if anyone's listening and they inherited some money and they want to be a philanthropist, but we're hoping to hit the ground running in September and start planning next year's show. I would love to have a winter show.
I'd like you to take over for the Green. It's summer. We need a summer jazz festival on the Green. Like when I was a young woman.
Yeah.
I loved those when I was a young woman.
I went to them too. And
the Brian Alden jazz festivals. Remember those?
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know who was running it, but I remember going to some on the Green. That we would love to do shows like that. We tried to do we proposed an idea of having a block party on College Street.
They used to do that. They used to block the street.
Yeah.
They used to block it all the way from from College all the way down to Park.
Mm-hmm.
And they would it would be a block party.
Yeah.
And it'd be fashion shows because I did them. And then I had friends who worked lights, and so I was like a gaff and all this other kind of stuff. So yeah,
we wanted to block. You know, one of our ideas was to block off college, that block in front of the Owl Shop and an Anchor Bar. We were gonna have food trucks and have 2 stages and just have this big party.
Are they saying anything?
It wasn't able. We weren't able to do it, and a lot of it is to beat the drum. A lot of it is money and sponsorship and donations, and a lot of people that have talked to me about their experiences with the jazz festival is how much they love the having it on the green and the big tent and and having a picnic while you listen to great acts. And the reality is that that the funds required for an event like that are very large.
Yeah,
and
we know, but
yeah.
we just,
I know everybody knows, but
we know, but it was such a wonderful to hear jazz. Like, I mean, I love the artists that they bring, but jazz, you know what I mean?
Oh, of course. I would love, I would love to have some kind of subscription membership, that was maybe a year, one time payment of a year, and it was affordable. I was joking with Brian Slattery that Bernie's campaign was what, $27, and which doesn't break the bank, but how many people donated that much? Imagine if we could get that many people, a good amount of people that live in the greater area.
Y'all want to have jazz on the green? This is what it's going to take.
And if we all work together, we can all enjoy it.
Then we can do it. Yeah. But there's Cool Breeze in the Park by Phil Bynum, which I love this concept of. They've been using pretty much a great many city parks, having jazz artists come and play in city parks. And I'm talking like Worcester Square. Yeah. And
I'd love to play Worcester Square.
Edgewood,
that'd be so fun.
And it was wonderful to be because we don't you don't get, if you live in a particular neighborhood, you're unlikely to go into somebody else's neighborhood, right? So it's lovely that the Cool Breeze in the Park folks under Phil Bynum's leadership. I went and saw a concert down in Fairhaven on the water, and it was wonderful. Worcester Square, Edgewood Park.
You have to give me his info because I want to hook up with him.
I think you would. Yes, I think
that's the thing too, is that some people like that, like my path never crossed.
And he
with
feels
them.
like you do. He was like, I want jazz. I want jazz. I want music everywhere. And he's like, you know what? We could just utilize these parks.
Yeah.
And that's what he's been doing. It's been a good turnout.
And the bottom line is that the city deserves it.
Yes.
I love this town, and I want it to be like a cultural mecca.
I'm so glad. I love when people say they love this town, because I love this town too.
Oh yeah. I made the conscious effort to choose New Haven. Especially when going into music. A lot of guys go to New York, and that's fantastic. But I wanted to stay local. I always joke that it's like my punk rock roots, because like some of the biggest shows I played back in the day were in Nowheresville, New England, and there'd be hundreds of people.
Yeah,
and it's like you don't have to go to Irving Plaza to see a great rock show. You can go to East Hampton, Massachusetts, and have a great crowd. So and besides that increases the amount of places you can play. So my goal is to make New Haven a stop. If you are going from New York to Boston or vice versa or whatever, you want to stop in New Haven and the side door, and
all the points in between, because you know that when you come to New Haven, there's a viable jazz scene. You know what I mean? Like there is a real commitment to this music, and people who support it and go hear it and listen to it and check it out.
Yeah, and it's my understanding that at one time it was. Especially
down Dixwell Avenue, Monterey Place.
I mean, I'm too young.
I'm too young for that too.
So I've only heard stories.
Yes,
but I want that again.
Yes,
and
like Billie Holiday sang there.
Yeah,
at Monterey Place. Like, it's just the craziest thing.
That's awesome.
And
nobody would know.
Yeah,
and the thing is that if the only people who know that or remember that are of a certain generation or age, there's going to be a time where nobody knows it.
Yeah, nobody knows it.
And so nobody's going to think to try, because they didn't know there was a precedent.
Yeah.
So I love hearing stories like that, because I want to know that this town was good enough for Billie Holiday, so it's still good enough for whoever.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And just keep it going, man.
Yeah.
We just I wish, you know, if I was mayor, every venue would have a jazz night, you know, and they would alternate so they don't have to compete with each other. You know.
Well, you know what? Sometimes somebody at City Hall listens to this show.
All due respect.
So they might.
All due respect.
They might. They might take that idea and run with it. You'll be like, did they just take my idea?
Yeah. Right.
Like, yeah, they did. They did.
I hope, you know. I hope that could be a possibility.
I think so. I mean, listen, you have enough energy for, like, I don't know how many people on that board, but you are the board. So
no. I couldn't do what I'm doing without them.
The place. So I'm like,
and since we're talking about the board real quick, I do want to shout out to Alex Vishnu, who is not a board member, but he is been a irreplaceable asset to the board. He came to us this year to look into putting on a festival on the green and the block party idea. And he has just hit the pavement. He has made so many connections, and I would be very remiss if I didn't mention how grateful the board and the city of New Haven is to Alex, because he's really helped us out, and he's taught me a lot of stuff, you know, about putting on these shows too. So the people you have to reach out to. So thank you to, you know, and then if I'm forgetting your name, thank you for helping us, and you know, in your contribution. And I hope that, you know, we can continue.
I'm looking forward to this. I'm gonna see how many of these I can go to.
Yeah.
And I will keep talking it up into all week, because I'm
please
here.
Do. Thanks.
I'm here every day.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, if I knew you were doing that, I would have come up with some kind of, like, you know, passport or something. You get stamped. You know what I mean?
I know, right?
We should have done that. You know what we could do is we make a map of the city, right? And you know how, like, you can get a map of the U.S. and then you got those state-shaped magnets.
Yes.
So we do a map of New Haven and we put the clubs that the shows are at on it, and then you get a magnet or you get a stamp for each one. And then there's a prize. Like, there should be a prize if you for the person that gets the most. You know what I mean?
And that's what they do with the wine people, like the wine trail people.
All the winos do it. So
they give you a passport to see how many wine vineyards you can hit. Like,
and I think the breweries do that too.
Yeah.
There's like Untapped and stuff, right?
Yes, because you know what?
You get the badges.
Yes.
We should. Oh, and now we're
now
we're talking.
See, now we're talking.
Yeah.
So next year.
Yeah.
Next year.
I gotta write that down.
You should.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
Because I'm gonna make it my business. I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna keep this, and then I'm gonna take a red marker and I'm gonna check off all the ones that I hit.
Yeah. Well, you know, we my band was on the road this last weekend, and you know, so often people, and this is relatable to Jazz Week, is a lot of people will see us play and they come up to us and they go, you know, I didn't think I liked jazz, or I don't listen to jazz, but I really enjoyed that. And I think that goes with the idea that most people love live music. There's a visceral reaction, you know,
it really
despite what it is.
My life is better when I have live music.
So we were playing in Columbus, Ohio, and I got this crazy idea, and I explained to the audience that very thing, and they seemed to be enjoying themselves, but I didn't know who was a true jazz fan and who wasn't. So I said, I'm gonna play a line on the horn, and I played it for them, and I said, I'm gonna insert that in my solo. and whoever counts the correct amount of times I played it in my solo wins a CD.
You're such a teacher.
I know, right? I know. Even the band was like,
"You're such a teacher."
I know. Well, you know, I'm always trying to think. You know, and because I teach music, it intersects all the time. And somebody got really close. I played it like 7 times. They said like 6. Yeah. I hope he really was counting, because if he was just lucky, he fooled me. But you know, but what my point is that sometimes people they think that there's too much to do to listen to it, and you could just listen to it.
You could just listen to it.
You know, unfortunately, I can't listen to a lot of jazz because I dissect it. You know, it's my religion. So I want to know about every single note and every single melody and rhythm and everything. So I have to listen to like books on Audible if I truly want to unplug, because my brain doesn't shut off, right? But most people, they listen to music that way. But if you tell them that, you know, it's not homework to listen to jazz, it's not, you know, you could just enjoy it. Listen to the drums, listen to the instruments. They're just, you know, like it would be so much more accessible. I think that's part of our mission is this is a working man's music.
Listen, Charles Schultz, who wrote the Peanuts and the cartoons, introduced children to jazz. And they didn't even know it.
Every time. So I teach my 5th graders about Herbie Hancock, right? It does not matter which song I play. They instantly say, this is the Peanuts, right?
Yeah.
This is Charlie Brown, right? No. Just because you hear piano doesn't mean it's Charlie Brown. So that's a mission I have as an educator, that the piano can play other songs.
Like there's other songs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's funny you say that, because I think the reason why kids don't know classical music nowadays is because Looney Tunes is not on TV anymore.
Yes.
When I was in music history, I was a freshman.
Listen.
I was a freshman in college, and my professor played a tune or played a composition, and I was like, "Oh, this is the one where Elmer Fudd can't decide whether to hunt Daffy Duck or Bugs Bunny, and they're arguing with him and they confuse him. Like this is the song that plays in the background. Turns out it was like Richard Strauss or something. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that's what we gotta do that again.
Absolutely right.
Yeah,
absolutely
all the classical
right.
music I knew before college
That's
was from
it.
cartoons.
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. So, you know what, Nick? It's been a pleasure talking to you today.
Oh, this has been a blast.
I enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to Jazz Week.
I hope I see you there. Again, these shows are free, except for the first 2, but they're going to a good cause.
And go to their website if you want to know. If you have not seen all these flyers and cards all over the place, go to jazzhaven.org.
Yes, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Instagram is Jazz Haven Sessions, and Facebook. Sign up for our mailing list, and we'd love to hear from you. If you heard about Jazz Week through the show, please come out. I'm going to try to be at all of them. So in one way or another. So
we're gonna high five each other.
Yeah. So
I'm like, okay, I got another one in.
Yeah. Stamp.
Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for
blast.
listening today. I'll be back tomorrow. But it was a pleasure talking to Nick DiMaria today from Jazz Haven.
This is
Thank
blast.
you. Thank you.
All right.
All right, Harry, I'm on my way out. Harry? You hear me? Okay. Well, I'm leaving. I don't want you to play with you.